All right, welcome back. So what we're going to do now is kind of slow it down. 5 apps in 1 video, which is what we did in the last video. Was a lot. So I only promised to do 2 apps in this video. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at this flat scenario. When you have a data structure that is multiple words, but it's one data structure, so one data structure with multiple words, that's when you're going to choose flat. And we saw that in the last video, but I want to come back and show you that we've actually already seen this scenario. We've had a solution for it, and the new solution that we're providing with this flat is actually a shortened version of that. So if you look back in the documentation, you'll see that we talked about a shopping list controller, and that shopping list was one data structure. It wasn't a shopping model and a list model. And the link for that is right here. If you open that up, you'll see this is right when we start talking about the naming problem. And so our solution to that was to explicitly tell Flask Commands what the model was using minus model. And so let's run that command, and then we're going to run our new version of this command and see that we get the exact same thing in 2 different apps. So let's bring this up. Here I'm in my demos folder. Let me show you the folders that we have, the projects we have. We just have Cooker. I do promise I'll come back to Cooker, but for right now we are gonna set Cooker aside. So we'll say Flask new my project. We'll create a new project, and all right, the long silent pause. So let's go into my project, and let's go ahead and run that. So we'll run it. All right, let that open up. So here's our hello world. So the goal is to have a shopping list, and right now that produces a 404 because it's a brand new project. We don't have really only the hello world route. So let's go back here. Let's make this the right size and increase that font. All right, so let's go to app models and the init file. And the prior solution that we had was to actually explicitly tell Flask Commands, hey, here's my model I want you to make. So we're going to write it like this, Flask, and then make controller and shopping list controller minus CRUD. Okay, so I want all RESTful actions. If I get, enter happy, if you want, and forget to tell it the model, what's going to happen is, and we've seen this in many videos, it's going to break down the segments before controller, which are shopping and list. It's going to treat shopping as a namespace, and it's going to make list as the data structure. And so you're going to have list IDs instead of shopping list IDs, and that's not what you want. So our solution was to explicitly tell Flask Commands, here's our model. It is shopping list. And when I do that, then I'm going to end up with the nice structure of shopping list, all one word, as the model. And all the IDs are going to be shopping list IDs in my routes. So let's run that. And there it is. And then if we go to our routes and we go to their shopping list, all like combined, 2 words combined, 1 data structure, and then go to routes, we see exactly as I said, shopping list, and then the ID is shopping list ID. And so we end up with exactly what we wanted, which is shopping list, and then if you want the particular shopping list, there's that. If you want to create a shopping list, all this is wired up as one data structure. And so that was great, but if you watch the prior video, you'll think, oh, we actually have a new solution to this, which is we can have Flask Commands generate the model, and we can just tell it, hey, this is a flat case. So, and then we won't see the prompt, and we'll get the exact same behavior. So let me close these, and let's close VS Code so that I don't have multiple VS Codes open. So that was my project. Let's make my project 2. So we will close all these. And CD out of my project. Let's clear that. Let me list everything so you can see I haven't spliced anything together. We have to make everything here. So Flask new my project 2. All right, let's run that. Hopefully it'll be a little bit faster. There we go. Usually it's pretty quick. So my project 2, and we'll run it. And there we go. All right, so now let's go back to VS Code, and we'll make this the right size, increase this. We'll go back and look at the models. And here, let's go ahead and go to, oops, well, there we go. Not 800, but 500, and then shopping list. Okay, so 404 error. That's what we expect. All right, so we'll bring up the terminal. So the new version to this, or a shorter version of this, and it's still pretty long. We're going to see how to even shorten it more in future videos. But you would write Flask make controller. And then I always kind of preface this. Make sure you're not in a virtual environment unless you have installed Flask Commands in your virtual environment. I have Flask Commands installed globally. So Flask make controller, shopping list controller. And then I want all the RESTful actions, but go ahead and generate the model. And when you generate the model, make sure you do it in a flat way. All right, so run that. We'll get no prompts. And there it is. One model, 2 words, the routes under shopping list. There, just as we saw before in the other application. And if you want to look at the init under your app and create app, you see shopping list blueprint registered there. 2 words, 1 model. All right, so if I go to my web app, we see that we no longer have the 404 error, and there's the index, there's the show, and here's the create. So Same, these do exactly the same thing. So it's really how are you thinking about it? Do you want full control and list the model out, or do you want Flask Commands to generate it based off of the controller name? All right, we'll see you in the next video.